Hello students, I am Ishan Trivedi. Welcome you in this video lecture series. Today I am going to discuss about the urban goods movement. In this session, I am going to discuss the objectives, problems, factors, classification and issue of urban goods movement and at last the components of urban goods traffic. So first we will understand the concept of urban goods movement through the objective. Why do we carried out the study regarding this urban goods movement? The objective of this goods survey includes to study the physical characteristics of goods terminal and demand characteristics of terminal in terms of area activity based on the uh, town and the available space in the town. You can say the demand and supply. Then to access the transport operator characteristics, see different goods transport require separate infrastructure, their various facilities for uh, the goods which require cooling, then they require separate cooling system in terms of refrigerator or warehouses, whether it can be open structure or the closed structure which require only normal temperature storage. So based on those transport operators and the goods which we are supplying or the demand is there, based on their characteristics are prior concern in this study. Then to study the movement of goods traffic with the different types and magnitude of commodities which they carry. So I already talked about this. Then here why this survey is important. Survey is conducted at the terminal in the study area to access the requirement of goods terminal. For assessing the characteristics of transport operator, as I said, and the flow of goods with respect to the types and magnitude, a special survey may be conducted where the truck operators are located. The data collection from these sources is required to be checked with the goods flow at the other cordon points. Here, little attention has been given to the problem of urban good movements in the past transport planning studies. And here, the trucks represent only a very small portion of the vehicle in the urban areas and do not represent a particularly important factor in this road design. Here, the increasing attention has been directed towards the urban good movement problems in the recent year. And these problems which arises in the urban goods movement that we need to study. Here, first is the interaction between the commodities flow and the spatial arrangement of land uses, where you are providing in urban area their location, whether it can be at the outskirt area or the inside, and based on that the goods traffic may entering or may not allow to enter, and ultimately there pose a problem. The general efficiency and the economy of goods movement in the urban area, the environment problem of such as you can say noise and the air pollution which created by the truck movements, and the provision of truck movement and the loading in the zones of concentrated land use such as central business district. Even in Ahmedabad you will face where the big markets and the retail shops are there, because the major attraction is the CBD area. If there is a wholesale market and the retail market where number of people are coming, at that same time I have to provide the goods for their demand and supply. So basically it is a win-win situation for those suppliers, and that's why certain things in the urban area pose a problem. So now we are going to discuss about the factors affecting goods movement. Here these classification are of broader class of urban goods movement which demands the forecast of urban good movements in an area, and there are ample of consideration but we are just discussing few. First is the changing pattern of urban development and the urban structure. Then the location of terminals and the transfer point, whether it can be at the CBD area or it can be the outskirts area of a city limit, and where the godowns are there and then the demand and supply has been met up. Then the location, as I told you, the location of terminals and transfer point. Then we have the land use pattern of the city, or you can say structure. Then the changing economics and the cost of goods movement in the industry. Then the labor practices within the industry, which things are available, because labor is one of the targeting factor for the goods movement. Because of the availability of the labor, it is possible for the transferring the goods in the urban area. Then the potential technology and the innovation in the good movements, and the effect of government policies which plays a major role. Then the financial aids and regulation of the good movements, and the last one is the social and the environmental consideration in particularly urban area. Here the demand forecasting should be portrayed very well in the interrelationship among the industrial location, inter-industry transactions, then terminal interface, freight flows, mode choice, and packaging and the urban transport network. So these are those factors which are affecting the goods movement. So as I told you in my discussion that goods movement most probably rely on the demand and supply, which is nothing but the economic activity of production and consumption. A convenience way of thinking about these urban good movement problems is to just identify the principal economic units in the urban area and to develop an understanding of their internal structure and their associated commodities and movement of the demands. For example, a unit receives a certain type of commodity as input and dispatch other type of commodity as output. So there is a unit which receives a raw material, and by manufacturing process they'll give us a final product which again deliver to the market. So as I said, a manufacturing plant receives input of raw material and semi-finished product and dispatch the semi-finished and the finished product for the other destinations. Similar way, the household receives the food and the other consumer products and dispatch the garbage for the disposal. The freight terminal receives the goods that are either consolidate into larger consignment for the external location, or the goods that must be separated into smaller consignment for the distribution within the urban area. Here, there are another compiling factor is the frequency at which the consignment are received and shipped. For example, if I'm talking about in urban area, for public transportation services, we have some spatial distribution of origin and destination of routes and their time schedules. And here the bulk of person travel is quite regular and stable. But if in the case of goods movement, they do not have the temporal stability of person travel. So these things are unstable in nature. They require various time schedule and various handling of these goods. So it requires a particular structure and particular facilities for their movements. So based on these factors and the problems, first of all, we need to understand the classification of urban goods movement. In the broader stage, the first classification of the urban good movements that may be made is in the spatial pattern of those demands. And these are of the goods movement between the urban areas and the external location. Then inter-industry good movements within an urban area and household-based good movements within an urban area. So if I'm talking about these urban commodity movements or the urban goods movement, there are two types, that is external and the internal. If I'm further talking about the external type goods movement, then there will be thought of two broader types, and these are the movements directly to and from urban activity, and secondly the movement via urban freight terminals. Much of the freight that moves directly to and from the urban unit is carried by the trucks, although some plants have the rail siding or the rail network, and the further this freight that moves via freight terminal will involve a pickup or delivery truck trip within the urban area. So if they don't have a rail sliding or rail network, then some of those freight corridor or some of those freight transport movement, they acquire pickup or delivery trucks in the urban area. The freight terminal may cater to one external mode, or in some cases may serve as a two or more modes. Then the internal industry, particularly these movement of goods within an urban region, are virtually all accomplished by trucks of various movement involving the distribution of semi-finished products between the plants and the distribution of finished product as well to warehouses and retail establishments. Here, the residential based good movements usually involve the delivery of consumer goods, maintenance and service vehicle, and public vehicles such as garbage trucks. Further in that, a second level of goods movement classification that may be established by a commodity type. And the most useful classification system is the standard industrial classification system or some aggregation of this system. And the third level of classification is the consignment size, which is actually expressed in terms of weight of a consignment. Each broad type of economic unit will create the different spatial pattern commodity type consignment. For example, size implication for the urban good movements. And the movement mode, time of movement, truck size, and so on varies with each of those combinations as I discussed. So these are the classification of urban goods movement. Now understand some issues of the urban goods movement. Here, the urban freight is characterized by the motor transition, where non-motorized modes of transport have almost lost the ground to vans and the trucks, because those people who are using a hand cart and something, then it has been replaced by the motor transition, and that's why these hand cart have replaced by the vans and the trucks. Then the logistics sprawl is the location movement of the warehouses and cross docking terminals from the urban area to suburban zones. As I told you that uh, at the peripheral area you will find certain level of warehouses where they are going to supply to the urban markets. Now there is a use of a small vehicle to enter the cities, because the larger ones are permitted at the night time only. Then with some positive impacts, for example, there are modern terminals and the modern warehouses, and which has been replaced by the old one. But there are some negatives also, where the kilometer travel of the vehicle in the urban area will possess various pollutions such as air pollution and noise pollution. Then the congestions are there, uh, where there is a shortage of road width, and these are one of those serious issue in the very compact cities. Then the road transportation remains dominant. Then the issue of ban of entry of large vehicle, the difference in the situation in the city of advanced countries versus those in the developing one. Then the fixity, or you can say non-fixity of timings on the entry into cities. And in the Indian context particularly, there are varieties of the fluctuation of time. If I'm talking about Mumbai and Ahmedabad and Surat, there is a fluctuation of entry of vehicles. Because of these, they at certain level they face problems. Then the high volume of heavy trucks on the arterial highway creates the noise and traffic congestion, and there also concern of the safety for the other travelers. Then land use restrictions for the trucks, railway, or you can say highway grade crossing safety, that is also one of the primary concern, and that is one of the issue of the urban goods movement. Because of their height, there may be restriction of carrying those certain height of goods. Then general public has a negative attitude towards the freight service provider. And last, the elected officials may not give the high priority to freight vehicles. So these are the issues of urban goods movement. Now, if I'm talking about the components of urban goods traffic, then there are total 5 components, that is seaports, airports, warehouse and the distribution centers, railway and the roads. These are meant for just distribution of freight or carrying, which is depending on the location of the urban area. First is the seaports. Seaports allow the ships to dock and transfer the people or cargo to or from the land. Seaports handle a variety of goods, including cargo, which shipped by the internal or intermodal containers. Then bulk commodities are there, such as crude oil and specialized cargo, such as the automobile. Then airport provides a faster service and are more specially air cargo and are a significant component of the freight system. Then warehouses and the distribution centers. A distribution center is a warehouse or a specialized building that receives or store and distribute the goods to a variety of destinations such as retail store, businesses, consumers, manufacturing facilities or other distribution centers. Next is the rail and the rail yards. Railroad haul a variety of goods such as intermodal containers, bulk goods, and other specialized cargoes such as automobile. Here, one example has been given so that we can understand the potentiality of railway and the railway yards. In United States, the railroad are most commonly used to transport the cargo over the distance of 1000 to 2000 miles. And railroad are complemented by the rail yards that allow the freight from the shippers to be trucked in, transfers onto the rail cars and for train to be assembled. Then the next is the roads. In the United States, truck transport the vast majority of goods in terms of both weight and the value. In fact, trucks transport almost 85% of goods traveling almost 250 miles or less. To transport their goods, trucks utilize the roadway network consisting of freeways, highways, and the arterials. These roads that truck can travel on are regulated by the various authorities, whether it can be a national, state, or the local level authorities. So I'm ending this session here. I hope you have learned the concept of urban goods movement. Thanks for watching this video.